Hello, and welcome to the Social Security Show. I'm Daniel Summer, Public Affairs Specialist in the Chicagoland area. And I'm not alone. To my left is Josephine Mueller, also a Public Affairs Specialist. We've got a great topic today, Josephine. And can you tell everyone what we're going to be talking about?
Absolutely. Hello, everyone. Thank you for being here with us today. We are very excited to share some information regarding survivors' benefits today.
You know, losing a loved one is a difficult part of life, and we understand the emotional impact that can have. Nevertheless, there are other things that are also important. The financial health of your family and the many implications it can have when you lose someone who, say, they're a wage earner or working for the family. Never fear, though, the Social Security Administration is back, and we are here to assist you, and we're going to explain all of the available benefits. Josie, can you tell me just a little bit about survivors' benefits?
Absolutely. So let's talk about survivors' benefits and how someone becomes eligible for survivors' benefits. Essentially, Mr. Summer, when we're working and paying into Social Security FICA taxes, we're contributing into the system to receive benefits for life changes such as, life things that happen in our life, like retirement benefits, disability benefits, survivors benefits, children's benefits. And so when something in life unexpectedly happens, Social Security is there for us. And the topic that we are focusing on today is survivors benefits. And those survivors benefits come from those FICA taxes that we pay into the trust fund. So when we're working and paying into Social Security, we're not only working and paying into it just for ourselves, but also for our families if the unexpected were to happen. So survivors benefits are here for us if that were to happen. And one of the things that's really great to know, Mr. Summer, is that when somebody is 60, they're able to receive those survivors benefits opposed to 62 for retirement, because when somebody takes retirement or elects retirement benefits, the earliest that they can do that is age 62. However, if you are a survivor, you're able to receive benefits even earlier at age 60.
Well, you know what? It's a great point. And to reiterate, those same FICA taxes that you pay that pay into retirement serve as a sort of a life insurance policy for you and your family, not only for the spouse, though. So let's talk about the kinds of benefits there are. For example, Josephine, I see a lot of commercials. Maybe I watch too much television. However, one of those commercials says, Social Security only gave me $255. And I kind of think it's a bit misleading, because it doesn't tell you that that's only one of several types of benefits that are available to people if they lose a loved one. For example, that $255, of course, people are trying to sell you their insurance. But don't forget, Social Security kind of works as a life insurance policy for survivors, but it's not that $255. Tell me, that lump sum death payment, which is $255 for a one-time payment, can you tell me just a bit about that, Josephine? Because I think we ought to make the distinction between that and the other benefits that Social Security has available.
Absolutely, Mr. Summer. That's very important to make that distinction. So let's talk about that. So that $255 is a one-time payment. So if the unexpected were to happen and your spouse or your family member were to pass away, that $255 is payable if you were living in the same household. However, it is only a one-time payment. There are monthly survivors benefits that are available to survivors such as spouses and children. So those monthly benefits come to you every single month. So you'll have that one-time payment of $255 plus the monthly survivors benefits.
And that's what's important. You see, a long time ago, I would imagine $255 went a long way toward paying for funeral expenses. We all know that times have changed a lot since that was implemented. However, we've kept up with the times in another way. So that's the lump sum death payment. There's also that widow or widower's benefit that you alluded to just a little bit, Josephine, those are monthly payments for the spouses. In addition, there's potentially a child's benefits, a surviving child whose parents passed away or dependent. There's also literally parents' benefits, potential benefits for stepchildren, children, and so on. So don't just pay attention to commercials. We want you to come to the Social Security Administration to get your information. And one thing that a person that I talked to just a few days ago didn't know about, Josephine, because they're a young widow and their spouse passed away. She was only like 26, but she did not know that she could potentially receive benefits because they have a child. There's a such thing as child in care or mother's father's benefits for people who might not be 60 yet, like you alluded to that number. However, they have the children of the individual who passed away. And we don't leave them out of our benefits because we know it takes just a little bit of money to raise a child. Isn't that right, Josephine?
Absolutely. And I'm so glad that you pointed that out, Mr. Summer, because there are so many different scenarios where an individual may be eligible for survivor's benefits. And today we're talking a little bit about these scenarios, but we also want to share with you where you can find this information. So if you visit us at www.socialsecurity.gov, you'll be able to see that there's a wealth of information on our webpage.
Now that we've given you just a little taste, and there it is, our website, always there for you, new, redesigned, and ready. So take a look at our website and check it out, because if you set up your Social Security account, guess what? You can not only find out about the benefits in general terms, you can look at your own record and find out if something happens, what's available to your spouse, to your children, to your relatives. And that's just an extra measure of protection that you can give your family. Thank you. Now, we've talked just a little bit about the categories of benefits, but now let's talk about who can get them. I can't tell you that I've had a lot of people come into my office, Josephine, and they've said, well, I'm here to get the $255 lump sum death payment that they heard about on that commercial. And they're a cousin, they're a brother-in-law, they're a friend. Who is eligible to get that particular payment? Is there a limitation like there are with the widows being the spouse or the relatives, children? Can you tell me who can get that $255?
Yes, absolutely. And that is a great question that we receive very, very often. So as you mentioned, sometimes cousins or family members will come to us asking about that $255 lump sum payment. And what we tell people is there are certain individuals that can receive that one-time $255 lump sum payment, and that is current spouses, so spouses that were married and living in the same household, as well as any children that are under the age of 18 or children that are 19 and still in high school, or any disabled children that were found to be disabled prior to the age of 22. And these are the individuals that can receive that one-time lump sum death payment.
If you notice, there are very narrow categories because it's very specific to the relationship. And in fact, many people don't know that they are eligible for benefits until much, much later. It's very important for you to check with Social Security and not rely on anecdotal information from people because they had a benefit, because their relationship might be completely different. For example, the widow I just spoke to you about, what if they didn't have children? There would be no benefit available. And someone who was in that situation might advise them, no, you're too young, you have to wait till 60. Not knowing at all, inadvertently causing them to miss benefits because they don't know about the fact that if you have children, there's a benefit potentially for the child as well as the parent, even though they're younger than 60. There's lots of people who I've seen come in 2, 3, 4 years later, Josephine, when they could have been getting benefits, having lost a breadwinner and needing that money for themselves, for their children and family members, and they don't know about it. There have been situations where I've seen where a person has dependent parents and they have no idea that a parent or a grandchild or a stepchild could get a benefit. It all depends on the situation. And we have many, many rules. So I like to tell people, come talk to us. One of the most common situations that I see, Josephine, where people miss the benefit entitlement is when there's a divorced spouse. Too often they think the person's remarried, so the wife will get the benefit, even though they were married to them for 10 years. Can you tell us a little bit about that situation and how someone might be entitled?
Yes, absolutely, because individuals who are divorced spouses, divorced surviving spouses, may also be eligible for monthly survivors benefits, as long as that individual can show that they were married 10 years or more. Now, you can receive, if you are a divorced surviving ex-spouse, you can receive these monthly survivors benefits, but you must prove that you were married 10 years or more. And you can receive these benefits even though the current married spouse is receiving benefits. And that is because when we are working and paying into Social Security, we're not only paying into for ourselves, but for our families. And of course, if you were married 10 years or more, you are entitled to that benefit.
That's absolutely correct. If you're listening, you can see how this sounds very technical and involved. And I'm pretty sharp about this stuff, Josephine, but I would frequently go and review the policy when I'm looking at a particular case, because there are many, many exceptions in our rules, and we always try to entitle people to the highest benefit possible. One of the things that I would see sometimes is a retiring person who says, I'm getting my own benefits. That's it. And that individual that they're married to passes away. And they think, well, I'm just going to get half of theirs. And that's so incorrect, because when we look at spousal benefits with a living spouse, someone can get up to 50% of the amount that that number holder or individual worker receives. In essence, if there's a husband who's getting $2,000, his wife, as long as they're both still alive, could get $1,000. I've seen situations where, say, that same wife is getting $1,200, $1,300, and she says, well, I won't get anything on his record. But the whole mathematical equation changes when the person passes away. You're no longer potentially eligible for just 50%. She could get $2,000. In other words, 100% of that individual's benefit. But many, many people don't know this. And Josie, we don't expect them to know. They've got jobs, they're nurses, they're steel workers, they're bus drivers. They do that job better than I'd be able to do it. But when it comes to Social Security, get your information from the Social Security Administration only.
Absolutely. And so I do also want to reiterate our website here, because I want you all to know that this information is on our website at socialsecurity.gov. And as Mr. Summer mentioned, this information is very technical. There's a lot of different scenarios, a lot of different things and options that individual may see, experience. So we want you to let us know if you have questions. You can look on our website, look at our www.socialsecurity.gov section where it talks about survivors benefits. As you see here on the screen, it talks about the basics about survivors benefits. We've got a lot of information there. You can also give us a call at 1-800-772-1213 if you have any questions, or if you are seeking to schedule an appointment. You can give us a call at that National Social Security hotline, which is here on the screen. It's 1-800-772-1213. And you can always visit us at the local office as well. Our offices are open, and we are seeing individuals as walk-ins. However, we do encourage you to go to our website first for any information that you may be seeking, because that's the most convenient way to do business with us. And secondly, to always give us a call, because that's also more convenient. But we do want to let you know of all your options. So we're available for you online, via phone, and in our offices.
That website is gold. No, it's platinum, Josephine. It's even better, because Social Security used to send out to every single working person this sheet that said, here's how much your benefits are. We would send that around typically about your birthday. Cheap but valuable birthday gift. But now, every day is your birthday because you can go online and find out how much are the benefits. What am I potentially eligible for? What happens if I pass away? What's going to be left to my children and wife, for instance? So don't forget about it because it's very important to make sure that you have that information available in advance. So that website is where you see the amounts, and also it's where people can apply for benefits, Josephine. One thing that's not often mentioned is that people can make their retirement or disability or survivor applications online.
Yes, absolutely. So our applications are available online if you visit us at www.socialsecurity.gov. But of course, we understand that sometimes individuals may not have access to online services or be more comfortable with speaking to a representative. So that's why we always like to mention that we are also available via phone at 1-800-772-1213. So when you call us, what we'll do is we'll take your information down. We'll let you know that we're scheduling an appointment for you, and we'll give you an appointment date and time. And then what will happen is a representative will call you on that date and time and take the application from you right over the phone. And you know, it's very simple. We will call you on that date and time, and that application, we just ask you a series of questions. We'll go ahead and take that application, and then we'll send you a letter via mail with the information.
Great. The online options are available to you, but don't forget, we're also still always available to you. It's just that they're often more convenient and faster for you, and you don't have to travel. It's very hot today. It'll be very cold some other days. But remember, the Social Security Administration is accessible. So I'd try the online stuff first. Then I might give them a call if that doesn't work for me. So let's take a review. We're going to take a look at a few takeaways with a couple of slides. Here goes. We want you to remember these things, and I'll take one, and Josephine, you take the next. First, how about this? The $255 lump sum death payment is not the only survivor's benefit available. Remember that. Social Security could potentially have other payments available to you and your family.
Wow, and here we go with the second bullet point. Children, stepchildren, adopted children, grandchildren, step-grandchildren, and even parents may be eligible for survivor's benefits.
And we don't always reach out to everyone who loses a loved one. Some people don't even need us to because their benefits automatically begin. But for those people who that's not the case, I want you to know, in all circumstances, contact Social Security. You may be missing out on a benefit that your family needs.
Yeah, and let's look at this next one. Being divorced does not mean that you are not entitled to widow or widow's benefits, even if your former spouse is remarried.
And many people who themselves remarry may still be eligible for survivor's benefits on their former spouse's earnings record. You want to find out with us because it depends on the age of the person when they remarry. So don't just assume you can't get it because you've tied the knot again. Onward to the next slide. So here goes, Josephine. I know you love to do those spousal benefits. So we'll go from left to right, and you can make the first point, and then I'll go over to the right and explain the survivor benefit.
Sounds great. So here, let's look at spouses' benefits, spouses' living benefits. And we know that they can start from age 62 and go to full retirement age.
And as when you lose someone, survivor's benefits for a spouse, widow or widower, they can start at age 60 all the way to full retirement age. But did you know, Josephine, that in some instances, such as a disabled widow or widower, that they can start as early as age 50.
Wow. So we know that piece of information. And so if an individual is a spouse with living benefits, it's 50% at full retirement age or less if you start prior to full retirement age. There's a reduction for each month you take it early. So you're eligible for 50% when you are receiving spousal benefits.
Interesting. But even though that 50% is the maximum for a living spouse, watch this. The lowest benefit that someone could get with a surviving spouse, even at the earliest possible age at 50 or 60, is 71.5%, and that increases each month all the way up to receiving the full 100% if you start at full retirement age, like that example I gave you about the husband who made $2,000 per month.
Yes, and as we can see here, for a spouse, living spouse's benefits, a divorced spouses qualify if the marriage lasted at least 10 years, and other conditions must also be met.
That's also true of survivors, Josephine. A divorced spouse does qualify if the marriage lasted at least 10 years, but also if someone is married and that spouse passes away, say after 9 months, that person is just as eligible to receive a surviving spouse's benefit as someone who was married 10 years, because it happened during the course of the marriage and they were not divorced. Onward.
And I do want to note here for everyone who's watching here today that full retirement age is different for each and every one of us, and it all depends on what year we were born. And essentially, full retirement age is when somebody receives 100% of their benefit.
So you see how involved that is and how many different nuances that we have right there. So I want you to remember that the Social Security Administration is here to help you unravel it all. We know that you don't generally process survivors' applications, particularly for yourself and at such a difficult time in life as losing a loved one. But fortunately, we not only have the website, Josephine, we have other resources. To my left, in my left hand, we have a survivor's benefits pamphlet. This is available at many places. One of them is that website. Another one is your local field office. But if you need one of these and you can't get out to the local field office and say you don't have internet access, we will always make it available to you. Give us a call. I'd drop one in the mail for you. Sincerely yours, Mr. Social Security. Right, Josie?
Yes, absolutely. So we have these great resources available, and we are always willing to share them, and we want to share them with everyone. And we want you to know here today, one of the biggest takeaways is that there is survivors' benefits, and Social Security is here for us all. So please, if you have any questions, or if you are in a situation where you are seeking to apply for survivors' benefits, give us a call, visit our website. We are here for you. And anytime that we talk about benefits, Mr. Summer, because we know that there's a lot of scams and fraud going on out there. So we don't want anyone to fall victim to these scams and fraud. And so we want to let you know that there are people out there that are calling saying they're Social Security representatives, and they are not. And these fraudsters will particularly reach out to individuals in situations where they're the most vulnerable. So we don't want you to fall victim to this, especially if you are, in a situation where you're seeking to apply for benefits and all of a sudden you get a call from somebody saying, we are a Social Security representative. The only way we're going to take your application is if you give us gift card information, your credit card information, your Social Security number. Please know that we are not aggressive and we will not threaten you. So there are these fraudsters that are calling people out of the blue, and we want you to be aware of this because we don't want you to fall victim to these scams.
Absolutely great point. So the next time you watch a commercial and it says there's only $255 available, I want you to think hard, but then look at the Social Security Administration's website or give us a call. I'm Daniel Summers. For myself and Josephine Mueller, we'll be back next time. Have a great evening.